Well, hello, Ranbir Puar. Did I say that right?
You
Ranbir
did,
Puar.
yeah.
I'm Laura. This is Boomx Beauty Beat, and I'm so honored that you came to spend some time with me today and talk to everybody. You have quite a background, quite a career. You call yourself a life strategies coach, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot going on right now. I'm just going to kind of lay it all out because there's so much to say. It's a mouthful. You've got your website is freewithin.me, and I'll put everything down below so you guys can look at that. You have an online school, innerchampion.me. You have a podcast, Living Light Radio. You've also been involved in 2 books, Quotes to Awaken Your Inner Champion, and another called Aligned. And you also have your own YouTube channel because you just, not busy enough. It's under your name, right? Under
Ranbir Puar.
Yeah, and so I'm so honored that you're here, but I just want to start off. I think a lot of people have seen your TED Talk. It is infamous. I have watched it literally 4 times at least.
Oh my gosh,
and I cried my eyes at the end. I said, don't start. And every time I see you get a little emotional, I start crying every time. It is called Building Strong Children. And it is just so moving. The way that you talk from the heart, and even I've seen many of your YouTube channel, do we call them podcasts?
Videos.
I guess so. Videos. And just the way that you speak, it comes like so from the heart. It blows my mind. You just don't see people talk like that. And I got to dig a little deeper. Like, where did this desire to, start this career path, and where did all this come from? I know you have 5 siblings. You come from a family. They all wanted you to be a boy, but you weren't. You know, to Sheila.
I'm a Sheila.
Yeah. And so,
but I have a boy's name, so they got me one way. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about, where that desire came from, and if you want to share anything about your childhood or past or anything that you want to talk about.
Oh, sure. Well, the desire to do the work that I do right now was not birthed with me. I have to be honest about that. Before having my children, I was a corporate girl. I just cared about being successful and making money. And, it's just more about that sort of external success.
Yeah.
And then I had my sons, and with my first son, he's 16 now. Oh my gosh. And when he was born, I remember thinking, I can't leave him. I can't leave him. And he was born in August, close to the end of August. And then I worked from home doing strategic plans because I ran a division of a business. And I was told that my flight to New York, I think it was booked for January. So I could come back to work in January and I could go fly off to New York, and I couldn't do it. I had to leave. I went on official mat leave. That I couldn't do it.
Some strong maternal in you.
I couldn't leave him. And then in beginning of 2008, we were in Maui, and I had just had my second son. So my eldest is Isaac, second is Asher. And so my husband and I went for a walk with Asher in the stroller. And I think my sister was with me. One of my sisters was on the trip with us, so she had Isaac. We walked in to check out some condos in Maui. And when we walked into the lobby, my husband said hello to a gentleman who was older. And I said, "Oh, is this one of your clients?" And he said, "Oh, no. This is Wayne Dyer." And I thought, geez, I know your name from somewhere, but I can't really remember where I know you from.
Oh, gosh.
And so I sat there talking to this guy very casually, and I go, "Oh, yeah, we have one of your CDs." I try to listen to it. Your voice is super relaxing, but dude, I fall asleep. I actually don't know what you say because your voice is so relaxing. So he looks at me, and you have to keep in mind, I've just had a baby, so I'm wearing a bathing suit, slip cover, nursing my son, and there's a stranger who's got no shirt on, and then he says, "Can I give you a hug?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I just like met you. Anyway, so I caved and gave him a hug, and I didn't understand really who he was. I just thought this guy has a CD, whatever. Anyway, over the coming year, every time we went there, we would chat, and there was this one time in May 2019 or 2009. He said, "You need to come to my apartment right now, and we need to talk." And I'm like, "I'm not coming alone, dude. I brought a little toddler with me."
That's some Harvey Weinstein stuff right there. You got to be careful.
I had Asher on my hip.
Yeah.
And we went up, and I just joke, but he said that he thought I had this ability and that I was making excuses and that I wasn't following my life's path and what I'm supposed to do. And anytime anybody says to this mama, "You're making excuses," I'm going to prove you wrong.
What an experience. Okay.
And so when I went back, I started writing content. I started writing. It wasn't even as, I'm really being a little bit more open about it. I feel like I have access to information from, downloads or the muse or whatever you want to call it. I'm really blessed with a strong intuition and a strong knowing.
Oh, I just got chills. You know, I've got a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get, sometimes I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up with a whole thing written, and all I have to do is kind of go type it. Mm-hmm. And so just like this real strong connection to my intuitive self, my big soul self. Mm-hmm. And so I got really lucky and been able to work from that place. And to be frank, when I started my business, I started working in crisis management coaching. So I had people that had terminal illness or other genetic illness, or people that were supposed to, having, their marriages fall apart or so on and so forth, like tons. And, I've had what people call miracles. I've been called a, miracle worker. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just a guide. I'm a guide that can show you your spirit, which is a miracle.
But that's a crazy shift going from, business world to now dealing with these like crises. Holy moly. Mm-hmm. It's not like you went in with a toe. You went in all in. That's wild.
I think that's kind of how I'm wired, unfortunately or fortunately.
So then you started seeing some people get success out of what you were doing.
Huge healing. We had people that walk away from terminal illness. We had people have their radiation canceled for thyroid disease that their doctor had never canceled before. Big shifts.
Whoa.
And so I recognized the pattern. And I think that's what I was supposed to do, is notice that all of these adult crises were based in childhood programming. And it's really cool that I could help you recover and manage this crisis. But what can I do to make sure that I serve and build on the other end too? Because now I know the data. Now I know where it's coming from. So I built my kids program called Building Strong Children, because the quote from Frederick Douglass says it's easier than repairing broken adults, which was where I had started. So bridging the gap between the two has been quite an incredible journey for my soul. It's giving me such an opportunity to be in awe of the human spirit.
Oh, have you found in your journey some extra bonuses like healing for yourself while you've been digging into all this? Because we all have.
The bonus is for sure there, because you have to be able to walk your talk in order to do this work authentically. So everything that I've done has all been referral-based work. Mm-hmm. And people, when you're squeezed, your BS detector is really high. So you can tell if that person sitting in front of you is doing their work or not.
Yeah.
And so in order to be authentic, I constantly work on myself. Yeah. Because, they're saying it's like bathing, you got to do it daily. Otherwise you start to smell a little bit.
Correcto. Wow. Okay. So that's how it got started. And then how did you go from that to standing on the stage to now having hundreds of thousands of views on TED Talk. How did that move it? How did you get into that?
Well, I've been doing the work since 2009. So it's everything is just little bits and pieces every single year.
Yeah.
And then it starts to snowball. So for anybody that's starting out doing this line of work or starting any business, please know there is no such thing as any overnight success. Everything is slow and steady. And it's just that level of commitment to myself, because it's getting up every day and doing what you're supposed to do, without questioning it always, And so it's only spread because of organic connection and word of mouth.
Well, it's moving. I wonder if Wayne Dyer watched it and was like, I told you so. I told you.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, there was a trip I was going to walk up and go say hi to him. We had just come in and he passed away. I was there in Maui when he passed. So
I missed that.
He and
I didn't know.
Yeah, he and I have some sort of spiritual connection, clearly, that I don't really understand, but it's there.
Well, I'm sorry that I didn't realize that he passed. When was that?
Oh, gosh. It was, I'm going to get the date wrong. I know it was in August. I can't remember the year. It's been a few years, though.
It's been a few years. Well, he's watching you either way. So, okay. So some of the things that you talked about in that talk are just, they're so unbelievable, and things that need to be said, but just aren't all the time said. One of them was really interesting. It's trying to outrun your self-image. Can you expand on that just a little bit, what that means?
Well, I think a lot of the time, I have a saying that I say often is to stop measuring ourselves with sticks that belong to others. Because so much of our childhood is based on pinging off of other people. Nobody teaches us how to self-charge and be self-reliant when we're young. And when we're trying to outrun our negative self-image, we do so in different ways. My way was achievement. Get the gold stars. Get everybody to think you are a star and you've got it going on. And if that happens, then I won't feel so bad about myself.
Yeah. So we're kind of like racing against that self-image that we have somehow, some way, whether it's through alcohol or achievement or something. We're just trying to outrun all the time.
Yeah, we're trying to ignore that voice that says we're not enough, rather than talking to it and saying, well, why not? Who says? Yeah,
exactly. Wow.
Right? Challenging it.
Yeah.
And so there's so much, there's like, even in the self-help world, one of the things that I find very disturbing is that there's always this, go to this external thing.
Yeah.
This will fix you, or that will fix you. No. The dialogue you have inside of you is what will truly change you.
Yeah. And I mean, we all Sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
No. And just taking full responsibility for it. Like, you get to choose. You get to choose.
Right. One of the choices, hard as it may be, like one of the choices I had to make as an adult is to disconnect from family, which is, well, it's not only just my choice. It was sort of a foregone conclusion. There was disconnection on both ends of it. Yes. And it's such an interesting event to happen when you choose something like that, because then you're like, okay, now who are you? Can't use that anymore. All of the things that you get. But I come from a Sicilian background, and you can only imagine the father, figure, what that would be like. It's like that.
I can relate, because I think that, our cultures are similar.
Yeah. So it's so interesting how, and I'm 50 now. I just turned 50 last month, and how.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But I'm just starting to feel happy now at 50 now. Yes. And I remember I used to do makeup. I did makeup on women who were in their 50s, and they had this look on their face of confidence, and I'm like, dang, they just look so, I love the way that they're, kind of, I don't know, they look like they had it together, sort of. And most of them. And I'm like, well, and sure enough, when you start maturing a little bit more, you get maybe an opportunity to look at the world differently. So anybody who's watching this, who's younger, I promise if you keep working at it, it should improve. It doesn't have to stay, if you're going through a difficult time, stay bad, I guess. You talk a lot about, anything that happens before age 10. Is that the magic number?
Well, 7-ish, but age 10, there's a lot of, up until the age of 7, there's your conscious mind isn't fully developed, so a lot of it is you're functioning unconsciously or subconsciously. So there's a lot of deep imprinting that happens at that time. And, after the age of 10, kids start to shift and change a fair bit. And it's making sure you have a chance to look at that time and get an understanding of that time, but not using it as an excuse to stay stuck. Because a lot of people use those issues and the trauma to stay married to their victim story.
I love that, the victim story. That's such an interesting, couple of words, right? So now jumping to your parenting, you've got 2 boys. Isn't it ironic? Boys coming out of you left and right.
Yes. I'm the only girl. Well, my dog, but other than that, it's just me.
There you go. And so how do you think you're doing as a parent? How do you feel?
I think the role as a mother is the best one I do in my life. I think that I can say that with confidence. I can say that my relationship with my sons those 2 relationships that I have are the healthiest ones I have in my life.
Wow.
And I don't say that to brag. I don't say that to put down parents that are struggling, because I work with those parents all the time.
Right.
I say that as an opportunity to help expand the idea that broken adults have to make broken children. Like I say that with that, I often say in speeches, I didn't want the storms that were brewing inside of me to descend on my sons.
Yeah.
And so, do I make mistakes as a parent? Absolutely. When I make the mistake though, I take that moment to look them right in the eye and explain to myself where I was coming from, how my insecurity got in the way, how my story got in the way. And luckily, I actually have a partner who functions generally the same way that I do. So when he messes up as well, we'll say, wow, let's sit and talk about that.
Yeah.
And where I was coming from, but where I want to land. So I can't say that it's 100% me. I happen to have a partner who does the same, but in that respect, the 2 of us have to communicate on a clear channel. And so that's important. So when I work with the family unit, I can come at it from an authentic place, knowing that mine is pretty healthy.
Yeah. And you've been there as a parent, which is nice, because then you can relate a lot. My kids are now 22 and 25, so not kids anymore. And you go through this period of time, like after they turn 18 to about 21, where you're begging for phone calls and you're because you've got they're exercising their independence a little bit, and when they do finally come like around more, you're like, phew, because you just want that connection to continue as a mother. It's just so hard to let them go into the world, right? And they live in the West in university, so it's
I'm not there yet. Maybe I'll just stalk mine like a good Indian girl and follow them around. I'm kidding. Am I allowed to make politically incorrect jokes? Incorrect jokes?
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah. So what I've tried to do with my kids to prepare for that, because is to I've been trying to foster their independence to prepare myself as well. And so my philosophy on parenting is that I'm an adult coach. So my job is to just simply design the way I parent around. If I was coaching this person to be an adult, what skills would I give them?
Yeah.
And what toolkit would I provide them with? And so my hope is in doing that they'll still want to connect with me after they move out.
Oh, honestly, every phone call or text, I'm like, it's so exciting. It's like,
so exciting.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's funny, especially how close you are with your boys. You're gonna experience those moments.
It's gonna hurt.
Can you talk to me a little bit about who your clients are and what you're taking on right now, and maybe if somebody's really interested in working with you, what you'd recommend?
Sure. Interestingly enough, my clients range in age, if I could get my words right, from 9 to 85.
Wow.
Yeah. So because the focus of my work is the self-image, it's how you speak to yourself when you're alone with your thoughts. So you can improve yourself at any age. I remember giving a talk to a group of women, and there was about 30% of them were senior citizens. And I remember one of them coming up to me afterwards, and she said, one of my friends was saying to me, "Dear, why are you going to this class? You don't need to do this. You're blah, 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 70 years old."
Yeah.
And she said, "I'm leaving here with new ideas and new tips, and I'm going to go tell my friend about them." Yeah. And to me, that's like, wow, that's so phenomenal. So that's there. So individuals I work with the family unit in a really good way, in the sense that when a child is struggling, usually it's not just the child that's struggling. So we bring in the whole family, because there's nothing worse than teaching one person in the family and then 3/4 of the family still stays on this old program.
Yeah. So
bringing in the unit and being able to be firm enough to challenge it and soft enough to support it.
Yeah. Ooh.
so that's kind of my sweet spot. But one-on-one coaching, I'm just launching. I'm really excited to, for the first time, launch community programs where membership I know that's what tech challenges that I've been having. I just made something crash, which should be ready by the time this interview airs, right? But so we'll do community programming where I want to reduce the barrier to access.
Oh, great.
Because I grew up with nothing. And also when people are struggling, especially right now, financially, they need more options and ways to get support that's affordable. So that's my reason for wanting to create group coaching programs. I finished one for my Aligned book, and that made me feel really excited about carrying on and doing one for building resilient families. So in that, I'll do a weekly coaching call and then have daily support and tools for parents to access when they need them. And then they can join a live call once a week.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Can you imagine if we had this in the 70s and 80s, how much more function we had in our families? Holy. I mean,
families were so different back then.
Oh, that's what it's all about, is getting, getting everybody functioning better with each other. And it's a short ride, this life of ours. We have to enjoy our experience and learn as much as we can. And if you can get, using some tools, get past some of this stuff and move on and enjoy, that would be so much better than having these naggy things that just plague your life and your family and your personal life forever. It's just ridiculous. It's like you have to go in there and do the work, exercise, fix it. It's fixable, right? I mean, it's
fixable when you recognize that you're not alone and that you have community. When we were being raised, we had a village. And right now people are so isolated, and even more so now. And so a lot of people now, just because of the way we're set up socially with all the digital feedback we get, we assume this is only us suffering, because our highlight, REEL, real, says, look how great their lives are.
Yeah.
And when we go to the real, REAL, life, that's missing. So my mission is to bring that real back into the online community so people can feel supported and know they're not alone in their struggles.
Right. That's phenomenal. Oh, I can't wait to see what you come out with. I just can't wait. What's the best way to stay on top of everything that you're doing and stay connected? Do you
The
think?
best way would to be go. Well, I actually have a free 10-day course called 10 Techniques to Awaken Your Inner Champion. So
Ooh.
if you go, so that is, there's nothing for sale in that course. You actually get a free 30-minute call with me. If you're brand new to me, you get 30 minutes of my time as well. So you actually make a profit on it. So that is at innerchampion.me. So when you go to that, you'll see there's a course called 10 Techniques.
Okay.
And so that's 10 days, and each day you get a new technique. So you can join the community that way. And then you're on the email list. And if you don't want to put in the 10 days of work, you can, and you are a parent, I also have one short class called Raise Your Words, Not Your Voice, and it can help you improve your communication in your home.
Ooh,
That's
that sounds
also for
fantastic.
free.
I'm going to be definitely, anybody not taking advantage of this is just, what are they thinking? Like,
You're so sweet.
They should totally do this. Yeah. If you were to do another TED Talk today, well, do you have any idea what you might want to do it on?
That's a really good question. I think I would do one on, I feel like this is a really good time for us to teach our children about critical thinking, about self-reliance and taking responsibility for the self, because there's so much emphasis on the victim in media right now. It's like there's a lot of that virtue signaling that's going on. And so it's making more and more division between people and less accountability for the self.
Yeah.
It's like, let's put our victim on a pedestal.
So much so right now. That's so much so.
So if I did another talk, I would talk about, no, let's like take responsibility for the self. And this is why the virtue signaling and victim boosting is actually going to take away from your life. You're stealing time from yourself.
Hear that. I hear that.
Right?
We got to get you on back up there. That's a really good one. What do we have to do?
Yeah.
Do you have to like apply or something? What is it?
Well, back when I did it, I can't remember. I think somebody knew somebody that asked me, but now I think you have to apply.
Boy.
And now they're kind of everywhere, and they've lost a lot. I think they've lost a little bit of that je ne sais quoi, you know, they're kind of everywhere, so they don't have as much of a impact, I think, as they used to.
Yeah.
Mine's older, so I think we can have that conversation in any platform now and just put it out there. Maybe it's something I should do.
I would love it. If anybody's watching this and knows what to do next, let's roll with that. I'll probably be signing up for things. I don't even know what. I'm signing up for something, I'm sure. And I can't.
Please do. I would love to stay connected with you and support the work that you're doing, because I think it's about the sisterhood, and there's so much emphasis on competition between women, and we really need to unite.
Yeah, and it's not that hard, and everyone's so lovely. It's really not that hard to do. So,
not that hard.
So thanks again, and we'll speak to you soon. This isn't the end.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again,
Thank you.
Ranbir. All right.
Thank
bye.
You. Bye.